Market conditions majority bullish. Had a nice day on Friday, bouncing off of this demand block on S&P 500. We're down slightly this morning, pushed us back to majority bullish at 14 and 0, and not quite an all-time high, but the markets like the idea of potential lowering of interest rates by the Fed. That was part of the market rally that we saw on Friday. We'll see if that continues to hold, but really things rallied across the board. S&P closed out with that solid confirmation bar here, again bouncing off of demand at that 63.35 range, and majority bullish. We saw a big spike here in breadth. The stocks above the 50-day moving average moved back to 70%, compressing and pushing back to majority bullish. Now we'll see if that pushes toward an extreme, if we kind of get an expansion here and maybe an exuberant little rally here moving into the fall. We'll see what happens here. Obviously that can turn quickly, but as of now, markets liked that overall thesis. VIX, we saw spike, or a drop rather. It looks like we're up a little bit this morning, but we saw a pretty big sharp, a pretty large move back down on Friday, back in that 15 range. We also saw a nice breakout on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up above this supply block. It was a supply, now it's demand. I flipped that over to green, so we've got a new base of support for the Dow here as well, and all-time highs for the Dow. Triple Qs also finding demand off of that support area right at that 560 range, and we'll see if tech can catch back up. It had a pretty decent sell-off, more so than some of the other indices. We've got S&P 500, which was right at its high. We saw the Dow, which actually had a breakout, and we're seeing tech, which had a little bit deeper move back to the downside, although that did move that back to majority bullish. Let's see, small caps really led. You can see almost a 4% big move here in small caps. So risk on type of scenario in the perspective of the market from that just on Friday kind of unfolding there. We'll see if that small caps, if we can push through this demand or through this supply location as well. USO finding support around that 50% area. It's hovering at the 382 now, may gap up above that area, so getting majority bullish now in oil, finding support at the 50% retracement right at that 72 number. That could also push oil to the upside. We saw gold have a nice confirmation bar here. Let me come out to this trend low that we've been talking about all the way to here. That puts our 236 at 298, and it's still really a bullish pattern. We've talked about that. The risk is that it's already at the top of the trend. We've had a long period of consolidation that's potentially allowing more demand to start to show up and push a breakout trade here in gold. That is certainly on the table now. It's looking at, with some confirmation here as well. A dollar should be showing some weakness, and it is 2-year Treasury. Let's see what that did the other day. Continued to that downside. Bearish day here. Overall compression on the weekly time frame for the 2-year, majority bearish at 13, and the 10-year is also 427. That's kind of what we've been talking about with the markets wanting to see interest rates move lower. Let's see if the bond market is actually doing that as well, and that was a pretty significant down day that we saw, pushing it back to 427. Our yield curve is still healthy and improving, and we want to see that overall pattern continue to expand this direction. That's a widening between the 10-year and the 2-year, and a healthy bond market is going, stocks are going to like that. They're also liking, lower interest rates. So lots of things that the market is digesting currently. A couple stock ideas to consider. You've got, there was actually quite a few names that really pushed things higher. So that new buy number went to 144. We talked about that a few days ago where there was only like 7 or 8 in here. And so a lot having retracements, and now a lot of these names getting new confirmation bars like this. So a couple to look at here. Again, if you don't have that screen criteria and would like to add that in, there are links in the video descriptions to add the indicators, and included in that indicator setup are all of the screen criteria as well to get the new buy settings to pull in these stocks that have these overall patterns. So let's take a look at KN. Nice confirmation bar, increased volume, and also seeing Also seen a lot of bank names that are moving higher. You've got SOFI, which is moving higher, some confirmation there. You've also got Ally, ALLY, which has got a big, massive confirmation. Again, banks want to see interest rates, that spread widen, and so you're getting a rally in banks. Financial, and a lot of these financial major banks, financial institutions, really across the board, included in a lot of that. Price activity. Also seeing that home building sector, lower interest rates might ignite the home building sector, so you're seeing Pulte Homes with a nice confirmation bar back into momentum. Also saw Mohawk, which I did an update on that on Substack, and nice confirmation bar. Again, Mohawk is the flooring company that if you get lower interest rates, kind of that idea is lower interest rates, more home buying, and more home buying means more flooring going into those homes. So you've seen some kind of that ancillary trade as well. A few ideas for you to consider today. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.